Disclaimer: the information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GANs processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
It's time for change to move into the real work of the universe. And it's time to understand that we use the matter state to reach the level of understanding of the soul of the man. Now you understand maybe why the Creator has sent His messengers in the name of whatever you have had. Is that they bring the ears, that it can be used when the time of the Messiah comes. They can teach the soul and the messenger, not to oppose, but by them understanding through those who have become messiahs, to give from their souls to these to elevate, the job is made easy. The school is there and the students are devotedly there. Then there won't be any fight between what they call the Muslims and the Christians. The lamb and the lion will eat and sleep in the same nest. The Christians and the Muslims will sleep and pray in the mosque and in the same church in the name of their souls, not in the name of religion. That is used to create so much conflict for the benefit of those who were the hyperactive children. The time has come, the time of change is here. And as I said, my wish is my command. If it's your wish to see peace, the path of peace is laid very clearly. It's the soul of the collective awareness. By giving will create that position of change. No other thing. There is no pen in the soul of the man. And I'm sure once you go into the universal community, you will never see anything written but the balance of the fields of the soul of the existence. Try to be humble enough not to become arrogant in the power that you have understood and you possess. Otherwise, you'll fall in the same path of the church and the mosque. This is what we promised, and this is what we have delivered. We have to understand the operation of the soul, and we have to understand the soul of the man is a star in the cosmos of the universe. If we compare the soul of the man and many of us, 7 billion in one collection, Earth is like a galaxy with so many stars. When we look in the depth of the universe, we see galaxies with hundreds of millions of stars in it. So is the planet Earth. It carries 7 billion beautiful stars, which are the soul of the man. Carries with it soul of so many trillions of animals, plants, and everything else. So if you look, when someone who does not see the physicality of the earth and its content, what do they see? They see a galaxy with so many beautiful lights shining, each one according to their strength, each one according to their position. An infant has a beautiful soul, so has the old man. To those who do not see the physical dimension of this planet, but they see the strength of the field, we are clusters of stars. The human race, every single soul, no one from a distance sees, that's the soul of a fisherman, that's the soul of the cosmologist, that's the soul of the president. They all shine, irrespective of the physicality. This is the magic. This is what the new science has to bring to man. When we look to our soul, we see nothing but a star in the other souls. And this is the break. This is the understanding. This is what all these teachings are about. Coming to mature to the next level, to understand in the deep space, the universe is the oyster for those souls who serve. Then man is ready to go into space. Then man is ready to become part of the universal community which has been promised. I never promised you heaven. I always promised you the elevation of the man to join the family. And now you have the key. It's you who has to open the door to understand, if I can raise the soul of these people or millions of other souls, that the physical life on this planet changes, then I'm worthy to be part of the universal community. To be there to serve, to expand. To be there to be part, that in the cycle of life of universe, I become, in being part, I become part of the totality. When man reaches that point, a new dimension in the strength of the soul of the man will appear, which is beyond imagination of understanding of the physical life. It's the gate to the opening of the new life, in a new dimension, which is beyond imagination of what you might call a new beginning, a new cycle. Which that cycle carries with itself the origin of the creation of life in the universe and the universe. It's the elevation of the soul to serve become the key, not a throne of the physical life. The time is right. The time has come for the man to go through this process.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the 280th One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace and Justice here on Tuesday, June 27th, 2023. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the public teachings in English. My name's Rick Crammond, and I'll be host once again in this weekly series of workshops. Once again, I'm joined with Mark as co-host. Thank you, Mark. And I believe we're ready to begin with today's workshop. So let's get that ready and get into it with the members of the Universal Council who will be presenting the workshop. All right, please go ahead.
Thank you, my dear Rick. Thank you so much. And welcome. Suswagatam to the beautiful energy of Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Welcome to the beautiful energy of all knowledge seekers, universal souls from all around the world and the cosmos. Welcome to the beautiful energy of one planet, one nation, one way for justice and world peace in the oneness, in unconditional love. So thank you for being here, my dear beautiful souls. And if we wish for peace. The path of peace is very clear. This is so true. Just we have to understand. And I'm going to read some beautiful words spoken in the Knowledge Seeker workshop by my Master Srimad Mehran Tavapali Keshe. I'm starting the reading. So this clip is from 491 workshop, Keshe Foundation workshop. Now you can understand. I cannot send you somewhere where your mother isn't. I cannot send you to a planet where it doesn't exist. If I send you to the measurement of today measurements of the today knowledge on the edge of the planet, you end up most probably somewhere in the center of the universe. Where you want to be on the other edges, where the soul of your mother is creating a new star. We don't need stars and expansion in the center of the universe. We need new stars on the outer bounds of the universe as it grows and expands in the unicorn. Now you see, there is a lot of discrepancies in the fallacies we have accepted as men of science. I think a little boy in a primary school could tell you Einstein was nonsense. So now doesn't matter, makes sense. We have to rewrite the book of the universe, but we have to understand what we are rewriting, that we don't make the same mistake as knowledge of today, because then we put limitation of our children's understanding of the future of space. Then we come the then we come. The beauty of it is ask yourself a very simple question. I asked this question many times, and now I put it to you. You have to understand. You got to understand now how I understand the physics, how I understand creation of life, because things have to make sense in what I live, what I have been told, and none of it makes sense if we can, and if the magnetic field travels faster than the speed of light, or it's the ultimate in interaction with the field of each other. We should see two magnets sitting next to each other. Light, light, never seen unless sorry. We should see two magnets sitting next to each other. Light, never seen unless in the matter state. So the speed of light should be a very little things at the bottom of scale of the speed of the motion in the universe, that we don't even absorb its light, because interaction of the fields like the earth and the sun create light. creates field, it creates radiation, and we don't see that. We don't see light when we put magnets together. You have got to understand man's knowledge lacks a lot of truth. Today's knowledge, not your children and your grandchildren, that they know the new knowledge. Then you understand how I travel you to the moon in milliseconds of your time to the speed. And when I speak about the speed of light, and you will be on the moon within minutes, seconds. Now you understand how the new space technology, the new understanding of space travel has to bring new dimension in understanding the reality of creation and the life of creator within it, which has created it, not with the fallacy of the man. So beautiful, so beautiful. This is the way we have to understand even the key, the ability of us. If we count the speed, then really, speed doesn't even make sense somehow in these type of interactions. When we have experienced this, the experience of love. There is no motion in that, but there is an interaction in so much. How can we say? Just click of a second. So this is how in space from within it works anyway. So there is no time, no speed, nothing like that. So thank you for listening, my dear beautiful souls. Uh, so here I will say that trust your soul, open your heart, and travel wherever you want, manifest wherever you want. But of course, well, the wish for a beautiful home or a space full of love, you need to be in the level of better understanding. Because here in this physicality, we say, oh, love is like that. But you have to understand also, you know, you have to be variable in this. And our heart and soul is the key if it starts unconditional love. So thank you. Thank you. We are all knowledge seekers, beautiful souls. We are learning. And this learning is so beautiful. Step by step, we are going ahead in the peaceful land we want it to be always. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you. Salam, namaste. Salute, my dear beautiful soul. So, Rick, we can go to the next slide. Stefania,
Yes,
welcome.
yeah.
Oh,
Thank you so much, Sweta. Thank you so much for the introduction. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon from wherever you are. My name is Stefania Daddetta, and I'm the Universal Council representative for the Italian language. So we're gonna read the wish that we made for this week. Sorry, sorry for my reading. It's usually it's not very well reading, so I apologize in advance. We, the Universal Council, understand and live in a condition of the plasma dimension as a single soul, the soul of peace. So this is the first wish.
we are present, my dear.
We're present, thank you. So we can go to second wish. Okay, we welcome the great man of, oh no, sorry. Okay, thank you so much. No, this, we read this already. We read this one, Rick. Yeah. Okay, we welcome the great man of the universe to connect with the knowledge seeker and to the Universal Council.
We are present, beautiful.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So the next wish. We, the Universal Council, elevate and expand the soul of the ambassador of each nation for the unification of one planet, one nation, one race for peace. And this is the third wish. I don't know if we have another one or this is the last one. I'm not sure. Okay, yes, the last one. Okay, perfect.
We are present.
No problem.
We are present.
You're present. Thank you so much. And we're gonna talk more about this wish. After that, we're gonna have minutes of silence for elevating the leader. So as for who is new of this public workshop, who's follow us for the first time in this public workshop, we know today that working with the soul level, it's very important, especially in this present time. So we're making a wish every week to make a collective a gathering of energy at the soul level to create condition to make this wish to be manifested when the time is right. So we start to work a lot at the soul level, and we focus now on bring back to life or really acknowledge the fact that we are all one and we all are connected. In this way, it's much easier and much faster to come with the objectives to support everyone in their needs, because as we know, especially in the world of today, we have a lot of people that are suffering, or a lot of people that needs help, and also not just people, but also the earth, the animals. So this is a way that we're learning as we're going along, that we know that is the faster way. So we want to keep practice every week. And today it's a very important appointment, because in the public teaching, we got access to everyone who's connected to this teaching worldwide. And plus we connect with all the knowledge seekers around the world, and all the Universal Council supporter, and all the Universal Council. So we all together, we can have 1 day a week where we can exchange knowledge and focus our energy to different wish, and also make announcement. So now we're gonna go into take a few minutes of silence to focus again our intention and our soul on the elevation of the world leaders. Because why the world leaders? Because we know that each world leader represent the people of their nation, the citizen of their nation. Even though maybe it's not, for some people, we be not the perfect world nation leader, but at the end of the day, if he's there, it's because we elected, or it is there to represent the nation. So we discovered with the plasma technology that reflect the work of is a mirror of, or is actually how the universe work. We know now that we can affect altogether also the behavior of people. So if we, especially in the world of today, we learn that when things are unbalanced, we can bring them to elevation. So if there is anything that bring distraction or brings separation, we can, with the soul level, we can elevate. So we know that the world leaders are not perfect, but if we focus on them for a few minutes, us together doing this, it will have effect at the soul level on their persona. So, and we should see the change of the behavior in the physicality. So It's not harm to not doing it. So why just not try to do it? Actually, the word try maybe is not the best word because we don't try, we're actually doing it. So let's get a few minutes of silence now to connect at the soul level and to elevate the world leaders and also all existing soul. Thank you. So we start from now. I think it's 1 minute, Rick, isn't it? 1 minute. We can start.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, we can start now. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, my dear beautiful souls, for being present in this soul communication, the simplest way to reach each other in the truthful way. Thank you, my dear beautiful souls. Thank you so much. Rick, can we go to the next slide?
Yes, it's the one before. It's not this one, it's the one before, Rick. If you have before this, before, yeah, this one, okay. So this is a picture that it's referred to, I think, Mark, do you want to talk about it or I'm happy to talk about it. We go also, actually, we have, before to talk about it, maybe we can listen Mr. Keshe talking about it. So this is a picture regarding about the Congress that will happen in October in UK, in London. But we can listen from the last workshop, the 491. We can listen a little bit of Mr. Keshe talking about this event that is unique on its kind, because he will said that they will disclosure technology they never disclosed before on Earth, and it's very important that all ambassadors of each nation will be present to represent their nation and be part of this moment of breakthrough and change for humanity. And with this technology, we will be able to teach humans to transmute. And as we know, especially in the period of today, it's very important that the human being regain the full health and the full freedom that we always had. So, and this technology can bring humanity to be free. So let's listen what Mr. Keshe has to say about his Congress. Thank you, Rick.
Okay, thank you, Stefania. This is, again, an excerpt from the 491st Knowledge Seekers Workshop from last Thursday, June 22nd, and it's starting at about the 13-minute mark.
Assumptions which are made by Einstein, and now we understand it's all fallacy. But the most important thing today is the announcement we make. As you've been with us, with the Keshe Foundation for years, you knew that since early years of Keshe Foundation, in 2009, 2010, 11, we gave lectures. We made scientific presentation to government. We called it ambassadorial meeting and conferences. We had the first ambassadorial conference in Ninove. And then, if you remember, in Italy, later on, some years later, we gave the ambassadorial meeting where we presented the maggraph technology, and now we understand the maggraph technology is one of the most powerful technologies, but it was given, if you remember, ambassadors came and received. Now, Keshe Foundation announces a new ambassadorial meeting. This meeting will be supported by two governments. In a way, we set up, but the support will come from two powerful nations to make sure ambassadors in that nation and from other parts of the Europe will come in for this meeting. It is one of the revolutionary points in the point of knowledge that all governments know. We are here to share with everyone. So the announcement we make today, and it's been put on the Keshe Foundation website this morning, is that the ambassadorial conference will be held in London on 28th and 29th of October. Saturday 28th, after 7 o'clock, all the ambassadors with some of the powerful politicians in Europe will attend this meeting. British politicians at a very high ranking are invited, not by Keshe Foundation, but by the governments who we work with. This is important that we understand. This is a prelude to 2024, what we call world leaders, technology, space, plasma technology in exchange for peace. So this ambassadorial meeting is to inform, as we always done, but this time we are as part of the provider of technology. But the invitation and the support will go both by governments and the Keshe Foundation to all the embassies around the world. And embassies in London will be invited. The reason we went with the government is because before people start sending emails to the embassies and all sorts, this way invitation will go officially by government to government. So there is no use you writing all that rubbish which you did, because this time we asked the embassies to forward to us who is sending what if they receive. And there are a lot of friendly embassies, especially with the two governments which work so closely. So we invite you. There's a limited number of places, very limited number of places. As knowledge seekers, you can join us in October 28, 29 in London, at one of the most prestigious locations in London, because we represent the Keshe Foundation and two powerful nations for this conference, where, with the support of the nations, we announce the development of the new technology So now what we understand is that we meet in London for 2 days conference, Saturday whole day and Sunday whole day. But Saturday night on the 20th, on Saturday at 7 o'clock, you are invited to sit and discuss your point of view as a knowledge seekers and what we see with the world ambassadors, even very high-ranking politicians, those who are the decision makers and what this new technology will come. You'll understand the reason we do this is because Keshe Foundation has signed agreement with powerful nations for delivery of this space technology in a very powerful way. And now we will go in through number of governments for the conference in London. We will have, as the pictures you see, this was a conference with the world ambassadors, Palestinians with Israelis on the front line. The far end is the Vatican ambassador, what we call the Prince of Malta, in the far end was sent by the Pope. When we invite world leaders turn up. And if you were in Ninove, we had other ambassadors who turned up, and it brought change even to the American policy. This ambassadorial meeting It'll be the cornerstone before world peace and agreement of the new space. It means space not only peaceful, but with the knowledge and technology. And so later you hear the flagship nations which work with Keshe Foundation. So please understand, we apply very limited number of places for knowledge seekers. The same goes for outside, those who are not knowledge seekers but want to be in this conference. New technologies will be shown, unseen. New technologies with the permission of the two governments we work with will be opened in that conference, leading to the world leaders meeting in applying the new technology. So if you're interested and you are part of the change and you want to put your ideas and questions to the world leaders, to the world ambassadors, please in this point, we bring everything to a beautiful beginning with the Keshe Foundation technology in exchange for peace outside the environment of the Earth, because there we don't have nationalities. So we bring in one of the most, what are called celebrating days on 28th of October in London, as one of the most prestigious places with hundreds of people, ambassadors and government officials. Possibly 2 or 3 prime ministers will be invited. High-level government officials who are the decision makers will be present. And then we lead to 2024, 2035 for the world leaders, technology, space technology, in exchange for peace outside the Earth, which means we become working as one. You have heard the prelude to this in the past 2 or 3 weeks by nations announcing collaboration with the world scientists in the space technology. This will come in the back of that and a lot of the things which you receive support from governments.
And is that where you'd like to end that clip?
Yeah, I think so. Mark, is it okay to end here? I don't know if Mark can hear
I'm
me.
not sure what time you're at. It was about 21 minutes, but yes, I think the
maybe another 30 seconds or so. We could try that.
We'll play it by ear.
Let's try that.
I hope we see some of you. This will be one of the memorable times of the technology being opened up. Technologies will be shown that even knowledge seekers who work close to us have never seen. And then bring that change, the step. And the first time by that, during the conference, the first, what we call motions, will be tempted to be what we said, to transmute. The technology will be that level, and we deliver what we said. We come to.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
thank you so much.
better.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can leave this picture in the screen a little bit, and then we can change it. Yes, so as you heard, we're ready. We're ready. Everything is going to plan, like Mr. Keshe already said. So he said, he will disclosure the plasma technology only after he had the support of nation, government, and after this government had signed the peace treaty. So from my understanding, couple of governments have signed the peace treaty. And as a consequences of this signature, where they committed to peace, then Mr. Keshe, as it promised, now we can disclosure technology that never disclosure before in Earth. This is my understanding, that this technology has never been shown off before. And thanks to this technology, we can have the start of the first Mojan group, and those people will be trained successfully for the transmutation. And we know, like Mr. Keshe said many times, once we can transmute, everything is possible. We can have eternal life, we can stop illness, feed in all the worlds, really cover all the needs of humanity. Will be no problem anymore of illness. And we know today we got some serious illness coming up that it's very hard to find solution, but with this technology, we will be able to eradicate every illness, we be able to feed people anywhere, to cover all the needs. So I can't wait. That's why it's very, very important that who has in contact between all of you, if any one of you has somehow contact with people who are game changer, they should be present in this Congress because, as you heard, it will be unique of its kind. And any ambassador, so anyone who is good, not between all of us, there are people who are good to write to the governments and ambassadors letter. So now I think is the time to invite any ambassador that we can reach, any person that can actually make some changing and want to be part of this changing. That is the time to be present at this Congress. I don't know if anyone wants to add anything to this. I don't know, Mark, if you want to add anything, or anyone.
Well, again, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Mark,
Dean,
please.
okay. No, I was going to say, Mr. Keshe has been to the world governments a number of times. They all know and talk about the Keshe Foundation. So for over 20 years, I think he's offered, he said he could show the people on this planet how to feed themselves and generate their own power relatively inexpensively. And again, this is just another meeting in the series of ambassador meetings that's been held probably since the early 2000s, or even maybe a little later than that. But I think one of the major, I believe people that attend this conference will see something that only a couple of people in the universe or on this planet have ever achieved, which is the transmutation. I don't know if he's going to bring in a unit or two units and go from one to the other, or Emojan will, he said they're going to attempt to do the transmutation. And I don't think it's a wallet or a pocketbook. I think they're going to show a physical transmutation of the human being. Again, going into the energy state and back. This will be jaw-dropping and life-changing for all who get to see and witness this process and to confirm the technology. I'm sure they'll probably think it's magic, but as Mr. Keshe says, I don't do magic. He says, my knowledge is my magic. And if you understand it, you become magician too. So without understanding the technology, it does look like magic, but I think what's happening here is that, again, the technology is going to be publicly demonstrated, even things the knowledge seekers haven't seen before. And this is part of a huge change that's coming on this planet. But we'd encourage everyone to sign up early, as there's only a limited number of seats for those who are knowledge seekers. And those who are not knowledge seekers are also invited to attend. So we just encourage everyone to be part of this conference. Again, this is technology that's never been witnessed by humanity. And I think the ambassadors will, again, take this back to their governments, to their world leaders. And I'm sure that we're going to be asked, or the governments are going to be asked, to move away from these sort of space forces that I know in the United States they're calling it solar warden, and we're just bringing the same sort of thing into the universe that we're doing here. And this is killing and having wars, and this is not going to be allowed in space. So I think there'll be a big suggestion that we move away from these type of policies, work together, the space agencies, not for war, but for peace. And I think we'll go a lot farther in our understanding and collaboration among the nations if we do work together. And this is part of it, but the technology will certainly be jaw-dropping and just more than amazing to anyone who attends this conference. So we'd encourage you all to sign up. I think Rick showed it. There is a fee. And of course, that fee does not cover your lodging, transportation, meals, etc. But what you will see will be absolutely priceless. Thank you.
Yes, I think we got also didn't want to say something about the Congress.
Yeah, thank you, Stefania. I'd just like to quickly say that I think Mark summed it up beautifully there. It's a wonderful opportunity that is being presented to the nations, being held in London. And this gives an opportunity for many people to really see the technology and to see what it has to offer. I mean, it's been offered many times, but to physically see it, mankind, humans, humanity seems to need to see things in the physicality. So this is, as Mr. Keshe said, is going to be shown. So it's a beautiful opportunity for many of us to witness with physical eyes a transmutation, you know, something that takes position where a soul goes from the matter state into a soul level and then comes back. This, as we know, is part of a bigger process that's been going on in the universe for forever. And now humanity is being gifted this ability to witness this and be part of it and to join the bigger community and to establish a connection that once connected, as we always have been, it's never not gone away. It's just us that has stopped this from happening. So now is the moment, in this moment, to bring this this forward for everybody to come to terms with what is on the table. And it is an amazing piece of creation being presented for each and every one of us to be part of. And as a soul, we are all part of it. So when you come to see it and when you realize what it really is, that it's part of you, and it's something that you can establish and connect with yourself on any level, from the man on the street to the president or the prime minister, whomever. We're all souls of humanity and the souls of the universe. So being present in the moment and being present at this conference will be a wonderful gift, not only to your own soul, but to the soul of humanity and then on to the universal community. Thank you, Stefania.
Thank you, Dean. Definitely, the life will be changed forever after this Congress, because as Mr. Keshe said, we're going to go towards the final steps. So he was waiting for years and years a government to commit, because he always said he will bring the world to peace. He always said that that was his mission. And I think in this Congress, as he promised, after this government signed the peace treaty, he will disclosure the technology. And as he always said, whatever he taught up to now, it was just like a crumble. It was like a top of iceberg. We didn't even start yet to understand what he brought to the table. But he always said as well that his work is meant to empower the human body. So the human body, we are, he always said, we have a plasma inside. It just shows us what we are made of. He always said, even when we were doing the Mojan, the first Mojan, where we were not allowed to use any machinery, he actually said to us, you have to learn how to use your own body, because we're the most sophisticated machine. So the technology we show, from my understanding, the technology that will show in this Congress is a technology that will help. We create condition for our body to work properly at the most and the most powerful way. So they're just creating condition for us to activate our inner power and to really show what we can do, because we are unique beings. But we're like a washing machine without instruction. So I think this machine will give us the knowledge to read instruction to use our body. So I think definitely personally, I think that as Mr. Keshe said, we are towards the final step. and as I said already, that the government signed the peace treaty and it will disclose the technology. Now we can really start like the real, you know, I used to say the science, people say science fiction, but now for real, I bet a lot of scientists will die to know, or a lot of people will die to know more about this knowledge, because everyone heard, you know, people's materialize, you know, other things. We can shape shifting, we can materialize things in the moment of need. And I think with this technology, with this step of the government signing, now Mr. Keshe will be able to successfully achieve the transmutation with the first people who signed for it. As we know, he made the announcement a few months ago of who want to be a volunteer of the first 25, and then the 100 and the 65. So these people, they commit their soul to this transmutation, to learn the transmutation. They will be then our teacher. They will teach us how to do it. And this is what I assume will happen. And then as a ripple effect, we're all gonna gain this knowledge. So the good news that no one will be left behind. So even those now you see a price to attend the Congress or a price to attend any cosmic ray event, this price, we always said, are to support the foundation in this transition time. But now the government signed the peace treaty and they will start to implement this technology. Eventually, it will be free for everyone and no one will be left behind. So I really not to worry for everyone who would like to be there and cannot be there, or for people who would like to be part and cannot be part because maybe you have other things happening in their life. Before or later, we all will not get this knowledge. So this is the good news, and no one will be left behind. And finally, we'll set ourselves free from any shackle. So we don't have to worry anymore about our health. We don't have to worry about our food. We don't have to worry about our shelter, about the weather. We'll be so much in charge of our own body that the environment around it, it will not be so much of a big problem for us. So I can wait. So I don't know if anyone wants to say more things, or we go to the next slide. That is very relating to this slide as well.
Stefania's doing
Yes,
it.
Stefan. Okay.
Go on, Sweta. Go ahead.
No, Dean, please go ahead.
We're being very polite here. Carrying on from what Stefania's just spoken about. So I think it's really important that we come to know that you know, there's money and costs involved in transportation and you know, living expenses and being able to actually get to the location. But all of this will become irrelevant once you actually go. Once this process is given, then there is no need for any of it. And as Stefania just said, health, anything you can actually think of in the physical matter state that at the moment is creating an environment that we have to work within will not be there. It won't, you know, there's no borders anymore. So there's no way that you're going to need anything that is connected with the structures that are presently there. So this really is a huge change for all of us and for humanity in totality. And as Mr. Keshe has always said with this knowledge, that if one government signs, then all the others will have no choice. And Mr. Keshe has been present, as we know, for quite some time, and as positioned and being that you know, the large plasma, or this very smallest, weakest, humblest plasma, has come forward and has gifted this to humanity in this moment. And with all his years of wisdom and experience, we've now brought the knowledge seekers and the governments into a position to experience this. So it is a gigantic, wonderful moment for not only for the knowledge seekers, but for all of us as souls, which we are all none higher, none lower. We're all equal. So it's a golden opportunity to be present for this historic moment. Thank you, Stefania. Thank you, Sweta.
Thank you, my dear Dean. Of course, yes, this is a way to accept, all the governments of this planet, those who are governing, voted to serve actually. They should understand this. This time they have to understand their services for the benefit of all, without any borders. And I wish to my heart and soul that they should provide, but those people, at least they should open the door of knowledge so that people can be awakened to this knowledge, to accept, to receive the gift. So if the leaders are chosen, voted to serve, they should understand that as we in this universal unified team, as all souls are equal. So all souls have to serve each other in unconditional love, as we are elevating also. So in this way, there is no leader. We are all equal. But in this physicality, as they are manifested in this way, but the soul in communication we are elevating, they should understand that this time the change is very imminent, and all we are talking about life and living in peace. No more war, no more delusions, no more illusion, no more hallucination or social depression or country national depression, or to all leaders of the world or corporate sectors or anything, so we can say that the ability of us is so beautiful that we share each other the knowledge we wanted, and the government should understand that, and they must join the ambassadors meeting, and they should join. If they join, then all souls will understand that the things are transforming, and we became messenger for each other. We became lover for each other. So this time there shouldn't be mistake. There shouldn't be no mistake anymore, because this time the transformation of humanity is imminent, and we are talking about life and living, not all the hallucination they have given, like all the sickness, all the birth and death and all these things. We have to live in happiness. From eons we have been, what I can say, from eons. This shouldn't be going on in the name of evolution, in the name of social culture, tradition, whatever. Pick up the beauty and go with it in traveling, when you're traveling in the space with your family, the loved ones. Thank you. Thank you, my dear Dean. Thank you, Stefania. And here I will also say that in Keshe Foundation Space Institute, this joining is, well, I will say what I feel as a common man, person, that this is so enlightening, so enlightening. As Stefania says, that the ability of the light we are. So focus on that also, my dear one. If you trigger, everything changes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now we can, if any other comments or sharing, anybody else?
I would like to add a little bit here.
Oh, Washfit, thank you, Michael.
This this event that we'll have a disclosure that is of that will be noted by many outside of Keshe Foundation. But is this disclosure that event, or are we in a continuous process of disclosure? The knowledge seekers, are we in this disclosure process as we go now? Or are we the disclosure ourselves? So let's examine this. We have a lot of material we have had the chance to listen to. But the most intriguing part of all of this is that we're able to participate, or we are able to participate in scientific experiments where we see results. And this is an important part of this disclosure. It's not that you say in a word or, see something on the mobile phone or, something like that. We get the result within ourselves. We are each proof. We are each proof of this advanced technology. Not I heard it from such and such. It is with us, within us. So if we are the disclosure, and we are part of this process as well, so how can we more meaningfully participate in it? So one of the things that I've been doing is I haven't read the books by Mr. Keshe for a while, so I'm reading them again. This time, the book feels quite different, considering we have participated in experiments through the enhancement unit and various other, even through some of the plasma reactor group activities as well. So in these experiments, we actually are able to use our reactors, the reactors that we have within, to do some tests. Now that we are a little more familiar with the reactors, some of us have done gas-filled reactors, some of us have done GANS reactors, and so forth and so forth. But this time it is a little bit different. We are using our own reactors. Now, one of the advantage of using our own reactor is that when we do, unlike the experiments where we do, let's say, physical reactor, where we have to change parameters to observe certain differences. Yes, this can be done. We have done experiments, and many of us here are familiar with it, and we get results. This is a scientific process, so we have to be able to do this. Watching a video doesn't cut it, really. So this is, we are participating in a science. So it may feel good, yes, there's no question about it. This may prompt us to take further steps, but in the end, we have to do it. Or we have to, let's say, if we are going somewhere, if we are transporting from somewhere, we have to take the plane to get there. It's not something we imagine, yes, that imagination can be made into a reality, but we have to make it a reality. So now that we have this experience with our own reactors, reading the books takes on a completely different meaning, in the sense that you have the reactors, you can adjust the parameters and see the results. And so unlike doing it in physical object type of thing, as we have done with various types of reactors, you can change parameters, and you have the control mechanism all built within ourselves. So it's not that we have to build something extra to control these reactors or adjust parameters of these reactors. And this is a much faster way of understanding how this reactor works. Very efficient. I mean, this is my personal experience. It is extremely efficient because, you know, when I do experiment, I first design it in my mind and then, you know, build something to, you know, see the outcome. But when you think of it and you can immediately apply it and see the result, it's a completely different world. And the process is much more efficient. And this is the most amazing part of this disclosure process. In fact, Mr. Keshe uses the word disclosure in the book. And so we can apply these things. Remember when we participated in one of the enhancement unit experiments where Mr. Keshe said, well, try to connect your soul of man with soul of physicality and see whether you can observe a flash. It's the interaction of two fields creating light. Light, yeah, we can observe the light in a flash, or we can also observe the light in other field strength, like such as emotion. So this is an experiment we were doing to observe certain effect of two interacting reactors. And then, you know, another simple example is we elevated various individuals and groups. That's the magnetical we send. And the gravitational is how they are reacting to it. And our observation of that gravitational is that experiment. So there are a lot of these going on. I'm just giving a couple of examples of things we are doing. But can we adjust the various aspects of it, various parameters of it, to see how the reactors really work? Do you have to be, do you have to be good with, building things? No, we all have it. A housewife, whoever, a beggar, a scientist, and, there is somebody, who I'm treating right now for, injection-related health effect. And she actually cleans the streets in our neighborhood, and she's interested to do it and learn from plasma technology because she has seen its effect on her, and she's also bringing other friends of hers and people she knows. And she's seeing that this is a reality that's happening all around her. And she wants to participate in the experiment. She doesn't have any educational background, as we know formally, as we know it, But one thing she has the presence. As long as she's present and she can manipulate her reactor or play with the reactors, she has everything. We all have it. So she has never heard any of the knowledge seekers workshop, but can she do it? She has the interest. So we all are in this disclosure process together in one way or another, and each of our experiments not only helps us understanding, but as we tell others, like in this meeting and elsewhere, and we inspire them to conduct their own experiments. It may not be the same thing. They may explore another aspect of it. And in that process, we all get to participate in this collective experiments of all of us. And to us, that experimental result is not word. This is a reality that we all also have. I also have experienced somebody else's reality, and I can reproduce that result in my own way. So in my mind, this disclosure is science at its best. and we are all part of it. So let's enjoy and have fun with it. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear Maushik. So beautifully explained. So beautiful. Thank you, my dear. Thank you so, so much. Thank you.
To ask to Mushfaq,
yes.
Mushfaq, can you share any practical experiment that we can do at the soul level? So I suppose that when we have a mini silence, that is one that we can use our body, the soul level. But have you got an experiment that people can practice, or some example of that we can do using our body as a plasma reactor?
Yes, I said one very simple one, which is the connecting of the, that we have done within the enhancement unit, but we can do it without the enhancement unit, which is the connecting the soul of physicality and the soul of man. And you can see the flash, or there can be other sensations as well. So this is a very simple experiment, but if you want to do other experiments, pick something simple in your body that you want to change. Let's say a spot on the skin. See, and we can observe that how our reactors like soul of man, what needs to be done in the soul of man, what needs to be done in the soul of physicality, and how does the physicality interact? And can we change the spot? Sometimes we have to be patient with it, but can we do it? If we start from the understanding that we can do it, we'll learn how to do it. It may take a little bit for some of us because we may not have sufficient confidence at this stage, but it develops by doing the experiment. It is a little harder to do within oneself, but if there's a willing subject, or if you want to heal somebody who you really love and that person has a trust in you, that's a little easier because of the detachment factor between that physicality and the soul. With our own physicality, it's a bit tricky because we are so attached to it. It takes a little more effort to detach from it. But these are experiments you can do. So here you have reactors. We can use reactors within us or without, as we are doing in the enhancement unit when we are elevating other souls, or even here. Can we get a feedback? What kind of feedback do we get? These are tests we can do. As Mr. Keshe has pointed out, you don't need the enhancement unit. You have everything. Can we do it on our own? Maybe if it's not helping, if you're stuck, you can say, okay, I need a little bit of connection with the enhancement unit. So you can always get a little bit of assistance when you need it. So these are some of the practical approaches one can take to conduct these experiments. So, and you can design your own experiment. But start with something small, and like interacting two fields. You see a flash of light, well, that's a good beginning. So things like that, and healing others. That's in my opinion, I have done it, so I know it's easier to do. But doing things within the frame of oneself is little bit more difficult from my observation so far. Have I been able to do it? Yes.
I remember Mr. Keshe in the Mojan, he would say to us to look yourself in the mirror and see if you can change your color of your eyes. And that it's a way that you can see when you're connecting with your own soul, and if you have a say, so if you can change the color. But definitely I got a spot on my face that I have so long. They always bother me, so I will try to practice with this spot to see if I can see any change it. But how do I approach with the spot? Like, because I remember Mr. Keshe said you have to be always in a humble when you interact with, for example, with the plants, or when you ask him, for example, he said, try to move. Do you remember he said to us, see if you can move the glass from, if you have a glass on the table, and see if you can move it. If you can move the glass without touching it. And he always said that the trick is to be servant to the glass. So you have to ask to the glass what I can do for you. And then, if I understood well, the glass always want to please you, so he will move because he knows you want the glass to move. So this is my understanding of it. So it's the same when you interact with your spot. You have to have that humble interaction where, where you ask the spot what I can do for you, something like that. So then, I don't know if you understand me.
I'm understanding, but see, the thing is that although it's a small spot, you want to get rid of it. I mean, it's a big spot for you. You're very, you have the obsession, let's say, I want to get rid of it. And you've been saying it for, let's say, however many years you had the spots. Now, that's kind of making it big. That's not humble. So so this is where the detachment comes into place. You have to make it such that you can make the energy flow in that direction. If you make it big, that's not the way to do it. So big in the sense that, in a psychological sense, that spot is a big part of your thought. I want to get rid of it. I want to get rid of it. That kind of feeling, you get the idea. So it has to be kind of like soft and gentle. It's in plasma, you're not, it's like, in CERN, you hit a, with the collider, you hit something with something. This is, when we are thinking a lot about the spot, you're hitting something with another hammer, but that's not it. So once we kind of make it softer, plasma dilation, Mr. Keshe calls it in his book, and then you can let it go, and energy transfers very easily, and things happen very, very nicely. So
you remind me like when Mr. Keshe a few workshops ago talked about also the viruses and said that whoever had who's been affected by is because they want to share the energy fields. So I think it's similar what you say now. We don't have to fight. So, or we don't have to fight. If I want my spot away, it's like if I'm fighting against it. But if you are accepting and you are happy to share the energy, then naturally things going back to balance. This is what I understood. So.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why children are not affected by, or no anyone is affected by. There are a lot of stuff who we're worrying these days, that could poison us or could affect our mental state. But the trick, like Mr. Keshe said, not everything affected by, because the people who are willing to share and not be attached. So like you said, you remember the miracle that woman had with her son. The son was very sick, and she made this example of her son being very sick, and this woman, I think it was Azar, make this example, and asked this, how did it happen? How come this son of this woman had instant healing? And apparently it was because the woman was ready to let go to their own child, and that letting go and surrender kind of things. This is what I understood. It allowed the fields get to balance, and the child completely healed instantly. So it's kind of, we have to do the opposite of what someone will think. Naturally, but actually we have to do the opposite. It's a bit when we drive a fast car. Apparently, you have to turn the wheel in opposite side to go where you want to go. But it reminded me of one of those things. Yeah, that's it. I think someone was talking. I don't know who it was. Someone want to say anything? Okay, so I don't know if I understood what I wanted to say. And definitely, if a healer, I mean, for many years, healers, we know distance healing works. The people who do healing, they're treating people distantly. They done it for many years. There are dowsing as well. There are many alternative practice that already going towards that direction. But also, I remember Mr. Keshe said these are all tools. For example, the dowsing, I think they use the pendular to be directed by. I think they do going towards working with the soul, but there is everything a fine line where there are just stepping stone, and then at the end you don't need the pendular anymore. You should have the full straight connection with the source. The same with the Ganses. We don't need to, even the Ganses are a stepping stone for us to make a learn about the soul and the fields. But even those one, we have to let them go, not be constantly use them all the time, and trust our soul, like you saying now. So thank you, Mushfaq. Okay, thank you. I think I took quite a lot.
There is one more thing I want to add, especially in dealing with others. Sometimes, although the actual process is at the soul level, sometimes I give them pads, even though I'm doing it not with a pad. This is something, I interact with them in such a way that they say, well, I told them to connect with me. And I also said, I will connect with you. And, and then the energy transfer happens. But I also give them pads because in some instances, people need physical evidence or something to hold on to. And it's a very strange thing, but in one case, I treated a 6-month-old baby, and I knew that I'm doing it with her completely at the soul level, but I gave her parents some water to, rub on her body. But I knew that, that's, still Gans water, but the actual thing is not happening with the Gans water. But the parents needed that. And she was crying, all the time. She was in my place. But for a brief period of time, as I was contacting her, she opened her eyes and looked at me, straight into the eyes, as 6-month-old baby. And I knew that it's working. But, the thing is that, and after that, the following day, she told me through direct contact that she's okay. And after that, we received a phone call 2 hours later that she's all right. But see, this is an example of how sometimes, like when we do, like, let's say, physical exercise, although our soul might be doing all the changing, but physical, we are so attached to our physicality, we have to do something physical. And sit in lotus position to do our meditation. I'm giving you an example. But does our soul need lotus position? Not really. At the beginning to relax, yes, it is important. So for some point in the initial learning process, some physical things like a little bit of music or whatever, dimming the light and so forth. So let's not discount all of those things that are part of the process, but once we learn the process, are those crutches necessary? So this is something we have to be.
I have to insert something here, Mashfaq, since you brought up healing. Due to the limitations of YouTube and other media, when we bring up such topics, we always have to balance it with the regular medical perspective, which is to always take your child or other patient that is ill to a medical professional who's an MD who can diagnose and treat your whoever it is that has the illness. We have to put that in because you brought up medical things, and we shouldn't be discussing medical things on our YouTube channel. So we have to balance it by offering the conservative, ordinary, medical, professional perspective of having people get diagnosed by an MD. Okay, just had to insert that due to restrictions we have. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's important. And I also should mention that, some of the people do mention that, they're taking medications. I said, can they keep on taking medication while doing this other things we are just talking about? I said, sure. So it's not in opposition to what we know now, but it's add to what we already know. So let's not throw away what we already know. There's some very useful way of solving problems in our existing knowledge of things. We know electricity, for example. We can, we do a lot of things with electricity. Can we go beyond that? Yes. But can we, work side by side to what we already know? Actually, doing the experiments at the soul level help us to easily design an experiment at the physical level. Let's say we want to, some plasma device we want to make for a certain specific purpose. Once we know the principle, building these becomes much easier. And this is one of the reasons, I've been avoiding doing some of these things, but I will do it because things are getting easier in terms of, what I have to implement. So, instead of, doing the experiments over 100 years, we can do it in like few months. So this is something, so it doesn't, all of these does not mean we leave our physical world. The two worlds can coexist and actually complement each other. That just like, sitting in lotus position can help your meditation or, your soul connection with soul of physicality. So both are useful, and saying that one is not is kind of like taking extreme position. So let's, and we have to connect with the doctors. So knowing what we know and what they know, we can, we can work together. We can build the bridges, and the physicality is not in opposition or in contrast with the soul side. Both interact they interact in both directions. So this is something we have to also keep in mind, and in relating to others, we are collectively approaching. It's not just individuals. So those who are not quite there at the plasma science and soul level, let's be open to them in our own unique way. So anyway, this is important, that we have to consider others. We are not just doing it for our little group of Keshe Foundation. This is a planetary affair, or even and beyond. Anyway, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, my dear Moshfik. The disclosure starts from within. Thank you so much. So now we can go to the next slide, my dear.
The slide before was, I think there is one before about the maybe it's after, maybe you put it after. Yeah. Just to remind the World Peace Treaty if you didn't sign it as a knowledge seeker, so everyone who is new to the Keshe Foundation and to this technology, he always invited to sign the peace treaty as the first things, and it's something that we can do, all of us. Doesn't cost you anything. You can go into the Keshe Foundation website, www.keshefoundation.org, and there you can click into peace treaty. There is actually a window of what is right peace treaty. You can click on it and you can print the peace treaty and sign it, and you can put it in the wall if you like, but it's very, very important because it's the first step. So in this way you can commit your soul. Thank you, Rick. You can show. Here we go. So you go into the Keshe Foundation. I think it's underneath in the yeah, underneath. Yeah, here, peace treated. Yeah, it's there. There we go. Yes, you can print it and sign. Yeah, perfect. Very, very important. This is number one things to do, because in this way you start the process of peace, because it starts from within. So you commit your soul to peace. So if everyone commit their soul to peace, we're done. You know, so it's very simple. And luckily we had 2 nations who also signed the peace treaty, the World Peace Treaty. So now Mr. Keshe will be able to disclosure more of this technology, that they connect us directly with the source. That is the important things, that we are direct connection to the what we call the creator or source, or so that is very important, because we don't have intermediary, and it's given total freedom. So thank you so much, Musfak, for what you said. It was really great. So we can go to the next slide now. Yeah, next slide, the one before. So here as well, we got again few minutes we can show where Mr. Keshe talked about this event in coming up in July, and it's the 14th, 21st, 28th of July and 30th. So I read actually 4 days, but I believe there were 3. But anyways, 3 hours each, 3-hour session for each day. And everyone is welcome to take a part from all over the world. Now Mr. Keshe will explain why. Have you got the clip ready, Rick? Or you want me to tell by words of the 459?
459?
Yeah.
Didn't know about
Yes.
that. I can get that ready.
Yeah.
Is that 89, not 59?
Sorry, 89. You're right. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
489. Okay.
Oh my God, sorry.
Yep, got that.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, perfect. Very good. I think it's 30 minutes into. I should maybe a little bit forward a few seconds, but it should be, let's see, 13.
Okay. So again, this is the 489th Knowledge Seekers Workshop from Thursday, June 8th, and about 13 minutes into it here.
Himself. This program is unusual, as before we had 1 sessions for 1 Friday. These sessions, which are not promoted on the Keshe Foundation as a wellness, is for anyone who can join on a 3-week session, which is 7th, 14th, and 21st of July, and the conclusion week on the 28th of July, where we run a 3-hour session in each section. And this is part of in the background of the programs we announced months ago, where we can reach anyone at any point, any destination, for anything that they wish. Would it be addiction? Would it be food? Would it be any wellness conditions that they have? And we think this will open a new dimension in what we call wellness of the man. You have psychological problem, you have a physical problem. It could be you have a tooth pain and you have knee pain or whatever, and you want to see how you can get better, how wellness comes. We are not in a medical world. We are in the understanding of how we can communicate and transfer new technologies which has come into operation as of next week, more or less, in the process of reaching everything people need at the same time. This is a mass trial, hundreds of people, and we have launched this, and we think this will be one of the prerequisites and part of the space technology development, where we can reach man at any point. He can connect to systems at any point. And 3-hour duration is more than enough to complete a cycle and then teach the body in the following weeks to what we call tune itself to it. We want to know how much we can reach and how far we can reach. Somebody called me, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? The only thing is you need 2 sets of headphones, one on your head and one where you want the energy of your soul to be transferred to. You might want a big muscle on one thigh, or you want to have a condition doctors tell you it needs exercising this, or you have any condition else where wellness, you put it on that point. And then we run a massive operation in the background for Keshe Foundation to reach you. You might like a watermelon. You might like to fall in love. We want to every combination. Someone says, can I test it with my cancer? We are not there on the medical side, but if this is your wish, you can try. It's a freedom of the reaching the wellness of the man. I like to feel better in my life. Can we reach you emotionally? And you know where your emotion comes from. So we have launched this. You can go on there. The Keshe Foundation sale is the agent for this operation. They are not running it. They are appointed by the wellness centers to distribute what we call the promotion pack. And it's for 3 sessions, for 3 weeks, for 3 hours each. And it is something, a breakthrough we are looking for, and we do. Do not forget that the Keshe Foundation now is involved in a massive project, one of the leading nations in the world. And whatever we do now on, and we've done in past 10 years, will go into the operation of our signed agreement with the national government. We have become an organization beyond the imagination of many of knowledge seekers. And that's what you wanted, to reach the knowledge, the technology to every man on this planet. And we have signed ourselves into it with one of the leading nations on this planet. And we are working in that progress, that as our agreements come into fruition part by part, bit by bit, you become part of it. We become part of one nation government in conjunction with another government, which is a leading nation. But the signed agreement is use of the technology for peace. I signed this with the Iranian government in 2007, 2008. And now the new agreement signed with the government stipulates the technology on the basis of Keshe Foundation, technology in exchange for peace. So whatever we do on the larger scale now, you will understand in the coming months and weeks who we sign with, who is our major partner in the national and international operation. And these sessions we put on will allow us, in collaboration with the space technologies, space agencies, to put a new way to be done. If you're in the international news arena and you can hear, part of the agreements of the Keshe Foundation in the past couple of weeks has been announced by the space agencies internationally. But beyond it has been the discussions which we had, and now we see it appears as a national program till the Keshe Foundation comes in and becomes Keshe Foundation and the nation operation. We have come out of the cocoon of what we call kept silence by governments in Europe, and leading nations in the world have backed the Keshe Foundation. And we'll see the results. You will see it. We're working, the Keshe Foundation team, working very hard in the background, moving, bringing everything step by step, according to our agreements, step by step. National governments want to make sure everything is secure, everything is correct. And for next year or so, 2 years, we'll be working on those levels, step by step, working with the national scientists, government scientists, proving. Many of you knowledge seekers will be called upon to join, to be part of this new work. A number of knowledge seekers have already been approached and going through the transition of becoming part of this Keshe Foundation One Nation operation with the national government. Many of you will be called upon to join according to your expertise, to bring in as part of the 500 strong Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers team, which will become part of the national government operation. As we grow, as we develop, as we prove the technology step by step, through the officials, through the tests, through the lab, through the scientists, then we go to the next step. It's a massive project we're taking on, and the first phases of the project has already been approved by the governments, and a number of Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers have already started working on these projects. They know what they're doing, and they know they're part of this new revolution and evolution in science. What we would like to understand in the July sessions is how we can feed the man in space collectively. Colonization for us is not just to move somewhere and colonize, it's to be able to reach everything. We cannot grow all the tomatoes and potatoes in colonization, but we can reach you through the energies of the fields that you are fed. We cannot have shuttles for expats the way American fed Berlin inside Berlin. We do that airdrop through communication lines, through new development of technologies. And as we do this, when we come to the space technology development, and as been announced by governments of colonization to start in the coming years, then colonization becomes easy. What you've done in the past few months with us, and what we do in July and forward, would allow us to jump that part of the technology that we colonize, but we don't need to take rates every week, every month to feed few people on the moon or few people on Mars. We feed hundreds. The colonization program, which now you hear in the background announcement of the leading nations, will be feeding hundreds of people, not 1 or 2 scientists. This is not colonization. Then you understand how important this July session is for all of us. You participate in the large scale, multifaceted dimension projects of the Keshe Foundation, which will be implemented in the coming time in the space program. As we said, we come to you when we need help, we come to you when we share our joys, and we come to you when we share the technology. Many of you stopped the habit of the chocolates when it was addiction, and many of you stopped other personal habits. It showed us, yes, we can reach. Many of you showed us how pH can be raised through the technology, how we can make you happy. And now is the phase of multi-facet dimension, which means you could be hungry, you can't find the food in that 3 hours, half an hour of it, another half an hour you want to twitch a muscle, in another half an hour you had a headache, and you divide how you would spend that 3 hours. You send it to us, you record it. I wish, I wanted, and I received. And what I came in for. So it becomes a multi-structure understanding, covering different cultures, different nationalities, different religions, which you all have. And we see how emotion changes in this 12-hour session. So the Keshe Foundation accounts in Holland is totally closed. Keshe Foundation, you used to send funds to Keshe Foundation in Holland. All that has closed now. All the payments has to go through the links which is given and go through the same. If you are making donations to Keshe Foundation, please wait till make a further announcement in how it will be set up and the way it's going to go.
Thank you so much. So again, the cost of this, because we explained it already through the chat, that is a research, as you heard, because many things never been done before. And people said, okay, if it's a research, why do I have to pay? And we explain it, has been explained this in different videos from the Brazilian group about the volunteer. They explain that if we want to stay independent from multinational and be able to stay independent until we go into fully into the next step, that once the government have embraced our technology fully, and they will be able to deliver to everyone, every citizen for free. So until the time is not arrived, we have to support the Keshe Foundation. So this event is 1,000, if I'm correct. The one of the 3 days for 3 hours is 1,000, so it's 300 per day, more or less. I think the VAT is not included, so you have to add that on top. And so that fee will go into support the foundation for more research, more development. So then we can go with this data to the governments and prove the efficiency of the technology. It's not something that invented in the air, but actually is something that we did. So that money are for supporting the foundation. If you do not have a financial possibility, you are always welcome to contact the foundation and status that you would like to be part of it, but you don't have the financial support for it. And they will, I'm sure that's why it's important now for people who do have the money to donate, because their donation can be used to pay for people who cannot afford it, so in this way we're all working as one. So everyone is invited, and even this event, if you heard, is a breakthrough. So again here, think about it. If we can prove that we can feed in everyone, multiple people at the same time can be fed. Think of the application of that. If we got disaster in the world and we cannot reach those people with any machinery or food, we could use this technology to be able to feed them. Or other application, problem with addiction, that will be gone. Many, I have an auntie, she's gambler, so it would be perfect for people who's gambling. There are many problems can be solved, but we need to improve that it can be possible. So even in the physical level or the emotional level, many people suffer from depression. There are many things we can be helped with. So it's open for everyone. So I invite you all to be part of it, or to tell to friends, or to invite anyone you think can benefit from it.
And
You can always, yeah, please, Rick.
Just to be clear with the options here, there's actually 4 sessions in July, the 14th, the 21st, the 28th, and the 30th. And you can apply for all the sessions for €1,000, or you can apply for individual sessions for €300 each. So there's a discount for applying for all 4 sessions. Okay.
And you have to have the VAT on that, no? Correct?
Yes, right. Okay.
Yeah, it's a good way, it's a good way to donate, someone can donate to the Keshe Foundation to support your work, and plus they're having a treatment as well. I mean, sorry, I should not call it treatment, but they could have this experience with the cosmic ray, and they contribute to the research. So a lot of things can be done in one session. Perfect. Yeah, so I don't know if anyone want to add anything, or we can go to the next slide. Yeah, so the time, so we're running out of time, already into the 2 hours. So we can go to the next slide. Okay, next one. I think we finished them. Yes, yeah, perfect. So here we can, if anyone here, it's time for you to talk. Anyone who listens, if you want to bring any wishes from your nation. I know Sweta, she's want to say something. We had your picture of the cup. Yeah, but yes. So if you want to say anything, Sweta, please do.
No, we can skip that for now, as time is this time we have to open up for all of us to discuss and exchange. So we will take the picture for the next session, One Planet, One Race, and it is about the truth serum. But then we will talk about it together in the next One Planet, One Nation in unconditional love. So here we bring the needs and wishes from your community to the Universal Council as One Planet, One Nation, One Race for justice and world peace. So the path of peace is clear. So we welcome all beautiful souls to have your say, share all that you have. Thank you, my dear.
Thank you, Sweta. It's Dean here. I'd like to bring something forward to bring the needs and wishes from your community to the Universal Council. And it's important that we understand the implications behind this wish, the needs and wishes, is for one planet, one nation, one race, for justice and world peace. So that world peace, we take the last part of this process, is that world peace could be within inside ourselves. So from the smallest becomes the largest. And when we balance either a plasma, an emotion, a physical condition, something that is present and affecting our abilities, then the needs and wishes become very apparent to us. We start to focus more on what we need to function, what we need as in a physicality, and what we need as a soul. The soul, as we know, it being the higher of the plasma, is actually giving to you unconditionally, continuously, and giving you everything that you see and you require around you. So the needs and wishes can be in balance with the soul when the physicality is given the opportunity to establish its own connection back to the soul. So what does this mean? So when you make a wish to your own soul, to yourself, that would be in a giving nature, that would be giving the energy transfer, the plasma from your own thought and intention to another, to the community, to your cat, the dog, our vertical friends, to the world leaders, to anything that brings you a fear or concern, or happiness or joy, any of the emotions. You can transmute it and give that thought and that attention to bring that need and wishes into balance. And sometimes I've noticed this with myself and with others, that sometimes when you have joy, a joy for one person can be something totally different to another person. And this sort of gets miscommunicated on many different levels, and that's just an interaction of an understanding or misunderstanding of the situation. And this happens on many levels, whether that level, as I've said, is a personal level, or when you try to communicate your thoughts and intentions to another by a verbal interaction or a physical interaction. And then that transmutes and transpires, and the plasma of it, the interaction of the fields, magnetic and gravitational fields, interact in different ways depending upon how you've delivered the message in whichever form, whether it's in a physical form or in a verbal form. This is all talking about conditions in a physical way, I suppose. However, when we start to use the soul aspect of our thoughts and intentions to give to another, we're going into a plasmatic condition, and we're creating a field strength that contacts the other souls. Remember, everything has a soul, everything. So your thought interacts on a higher level, on a soul level, with the other souls. And then that soul has to give to that energy. And then that energy is then, as the magnet is moved, as the condition is balanced or absorbed, then you find that the physicality has to take another position, has to transmute the information, the field strength of the soul aspect, very much like when you put magnets together and one of the magnets moves the other magnet, that interaction is a plasma, and it's very much like a thought. So when that thought reaches the other soul, then it touches the soul aspect that then goes to the physicality of the being entity, the soul, and usually has the physicality then has to balance that situation. So the need and wishes of your community, you can do with your thoughts and actions and words in this moment. You can give love, you can give many different aspects. You can give in physicality, you can give a smile, a hug, you can give food, you can give there's many ways you can give, many interactions that we do on a daily basis. Those interactions are our own personal experiences, if they're with the right intention and given with love and care and respect for the other, and to communicate, this soul interaction, this universal condition of just being present and being in service to the others. So it's very much like was spoken earlier on with the spot. So when you become very humble to the spot, really humble to that particular moment, then that particular entity, that soul, will then want to give back unconditionally to the other being, the other soul present. And then that can be transmuted and shifted. So the needs and wishes are in every aspect, every thought you have for yourself. Be very kind to yourself, and to all the creatures created around you. And then that gentle thought and those intentions gently filter through all the different field strength dimensions across the planet, across into the universe, and come back to you manyfold. They will, you will receive much more back when you have these, to be in service to the others, to the other souls. So when you're just giving to another soul, you will receive back in the physicality many beautiful gifts and intentions, because the other souls know that your intention is pure. And when your pure intention is to give to the needs and wishes of your community, and that community can be within you, and then that can expand out to the whole of the unicos, then you will start to become in balance. And then we will have one planet, one nation, one race for justice and world peace. And this will be the moment. Thank you. Thank you, Sweta.
Thank you, my dear Dean. Thank you. Beautifully you explained, presented, you're expressed. Thank you. Thank you so much. There's a question from Ike that is sowing the seed first same as asking permission, humbling oneself before engaging? Yes. Sowing the seed, asking permission is needed in the services, you know, and humbleness is the most important thing. So, but sometimes, you know, as we are communicating in the soul level, there's always this humbleness, my dear. But sometimes you don't need to have any permission, because in this level we are all equal, and as a mother do to his children, you know, for the benefit of all, for the good of all. And so it is like that, you know. So I hope this is the point of view of me, of course, my dear Ike. But sometimes you don't take permission. You don't have to have permission, no time, but you are doing good for all, benefit of all, as a mother do, as a creature is doing. So it is. So, but mostly, but humbleness is always there. The love is always there. Thank you, my dear. Thank you. Any comment or any sharing? Welcome.
Sweta, I'd just like to say, so
Yes.
we know the seed is the most important thing. So when we, it's like Mr. Keshe said, the whole of creation from that initial point, that seed, when the seed is correct, the thought, the intention is present, and it is that seed, that soul, then from that soul, everything else, the whole of creation starts. And if the seed is correct, then the whole of everything that comes from the seed is then going to be the plasma opening up, which is going to get more and more beautiful and show more beauty to you and all the other souls around it. And this is what the universal community and the universal condition is. It's an opening up of the plasma, and the plasma is here to serve and to give to the other plasmas, to enhance them, to bring them into the as much beauty as possible. And this is the condition that on planet Earth that we are now finding ourselves in this moment. So yeah, the seed's so important. Thank you, Sweta.
Yeah, I definitely, even for example, even in the Shaolin culture, they said that a thought, any thought, or is a seeds of you know, of what will happen next. Is like if you then become a tree, you know. So, but I like the fact that one thing I learned through the plasma technology and the Keshe technology that I never understood this before, and now it's very clear now that there is not bad and good. There is no evil and you know, and no evil. But that is all human made. But actually, there is always giving and take. So now that we learn about the force of the universe, we just know that something takes and something give to reach the balance. And this make a lot of change for me, because even with the spot, if we come, we've been brainwashed since birth about this bad, good. But I think if you understand there is no bad and good, so even the things that happen to you that, for example, how can I make example? But yeah, you can transform. Now that we learn the transmutation, that's why I think it's very important what we're learning now to transmute. So it means you can transmute what we perceive bad into good, but because bad and good doesn't exist, it's just giving and take. So it's very, very interesting. If you take off the word bad, the word doesn't look as, I think that's why we're elevating. I think that is the meaning behind of elevating, because elevating also means gives. So we just give instead of taking, something like that. But I find very interesting. Okay, finish. Thank you.
Thank you, Stefania. Yeah, wonderfully said. It's always a pleasure to hear people smiling and laughing, and when we're in this condition, if you notice the emotions that it sends out, the field strength is totally different, and people respond to this. And it's like when you hear a child laugh. We all know that sound is very special to the human ear and to the all creatures created. It just sends a different vibration. However, field strength, we say with the knowledge of the foundation, it creates a different environment. So the soul of this is that very initial bit of that creation. It makes such a difference to something where we constantly are fed or feed ourselves with fears of everything that is right and wrong, as you've just said, Stefania, is bad or good. This is all created. It is created by our own interactions with ourselves. And we always then look to the other to say, why are you doing this? When we should be looking to ourselves and saying, why do we do this to ourselves? So the seed, the spot, the plasma, it's us. It's part of us that we need to understand and transmute and be present in the moment to be able to give and receive. It's very important to receive as well. And you will receive when you understand the beauty of what you really are. Thank you, Stefania.
Thank you. Thank you, my dear Dean. Really, really, exactly. There's no good, there's no bad. But there it is. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for today.
Thank you for today. Then we can wrap up now. Now go to the next slide. Yes, we are here to serve, the focus, the key, not to be served, the universal concept. And I will again say, my dear beautiful souls, that welcome, 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 suswagatam to the beautiful, beautiful energy, beauty and totality of Spaceship, Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Jump in, join, live, follow, whatever you can do. And of course, the kindness you have, serving each other. You can donate, my dear one. So it's also a beauty. Thank you. Thank you. And this is Shweta Anwar, Universal Council, Hindi language. Salam, namaste, salam. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Sweta, and thank you to all the members of the Universal Council who put together these presentations and act as the intermediary between the universal community and those of Earth. And this has been the 280th One Nation, One Planet, One Race for Justice and World Peace. Here on Tuesday, June 27th, 2023. Our next public teaching workshop will be the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group, and that starts Wednesday, June 28th at the 7 a.m. Central European Summer time slot, and people are welcome to join in that workshop if you're a newcomer or an old-timer with the plasma technology. If you have a project you're working on, that would be especially welcome, but any questions or comments are also proper in that venue. Okay.
Hello, my dear beautiful souls.
The
There's something
rooster,
to do.
the rooster is crowing here, and we have one last thing to accomplish, which
Okay.
is to play our
Yes.
Flight
Clap,
Enhancement
clap, and
Spaceship
dance.
Unit music version.
Clap, clap, and be happy always, my dear beautiful souls. Be happy. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Be happy. Yeah.
No worries, be happy. Thank you, my dear.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us here today, and we'll go out with this little bit of music, and see you all in the next public teaching workshop. Bye for now.